Are we really paying taxes so that our top anti-corruption bosses can stand in front of a commission and say, "Sorry, my memory was wrong," about serious cases involving crime intelligence? This Madlanga Commission testimony from advocate Andrea Johnson is exposing exactly why many South Africans are tired of the same old stories in high places. Wake up, family. This is about the soul of our justice system. If you love this country and want real accountability, share this video, tag your friends and leaders, and demand answers. Comment below. Do you believe these mistakes, or is it time for proper consequences? Let's push for a clean Mzansi together.
List that he gave me the list. I said to him, I conveyed the message of the prosecutor, and he conveyed to me he has no recollection of having given us or given me a list.
Okay. I guess let me leave it there for now. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. I would like us to consider, in relation to the issues under discussion now, the position you assumed before the ad hoc committee. And for that purpose, I would like to refer you to file 3. And in particular, if we could go to page 559. That is CJC 375, which starts at 523. That's a transcript of your testimony before the ad hoc committee.
Sorry, Counsel, you want me to go to page
559. Now, let's start, it's not numbered, the lines, but you see the line that reads the committee adjourned for lunch.
That is correct.
I want to pick it up from there. Advocate Arendse says to you, we are dealing with a referral by Mr. Adams in terms of section 27. You said that apart from seeing him on television screen, you do not know him at all. You say that is correct. You did not receive the referral yourself when it was received by IDAC. That is correct. What is the date of that referral? The second week of November 2024. So before ad hoc, you suggested that you didn't receive the referral affidavit from Mr. Adams. The last 2 days before the commissioners here, you indicated that you received it and you actually triggered an internal process resulting in a section 2813 application for a preliminary investigation.
Correct.
The two are contradictory. Which is the true position? Is it what you stated to the ad hoc committee or what you are stating to this commission?
I took the question at the time to mean that I received it from Mr. Adams. That is why I prefaced it as I did by not knowing him. My office did receive the section 27. That is the position. I received a section 27 deposed to by Mr. Adams and dated the 21st of November 2024.
But how could you so understand when Mr. Arendse's question is very direct? You did not receive the referral yourself when it was received by IDAC. That's the question.
I did receive the referral.
And your answer to the ad hoc committee is, that is correct, I did not receive it.
That's what I took it to mean. That I did not receive it from Mr. Adams, but I did receive the referral.
Where then did you receive it from?
The referral, when it came in an envelope to IDAC, to the officers, through the nominal document receival process, and then it was submitted to my office.
Okay. So you received it from IDAC. That's what you wanted to clarify to Mr. Arendse. Didn't receive it directly from Mr. Adams by hand, you received it from IDAC.
Correct.
Okay, your engagement doesn't go that far. But let's move on. Yes.
Are you leaving that page?
I am not. I'm staying with the page.
No, let me leave you to do.
All right. Now, the second leg of your engagement with Mr. Arends on this issue, towards the bottom of that page, Mr. Arends says, you are not aware of Mr. Adams also referring this matter to the National Commissioner of Police, the National Commissioner or the Minister. You say, no, not at all. Do you see where I'm reading?
Yes.
But we know after our engagement yesterday that MK16 tells us otherwise. Your entire basis for being persuaded by the referral is precisely because you said these issues had been raised with the minister or the minister's office had purported to refer this matter to you in terms of section 27. We had quite a lengthy engagement, and you too, with the commissioners about what was the complaint to the minister. We suggested that it related to interference and interception. You insisted that it related to what is contained in the section 27. Going with your understanding, then it can be correct that you did not know that he had complained to the minister, because we know our annexure MK16, which you confirmed you received, and you responded to, although you don't quite recall in what terms, tells us otherwise.
That is correct. At the time, I did not recall receiving anything from the office of the minister.
So why didn't you say, no, why didn't you say, I don't recall? You definitively say, no, not at all.
Not at all. Correct.
So what was ad hoc to believe? What if ad hoc believed that statement? You intended for ad hoc to rely on that statement.
That is correct. I did not recall remembering, that's stupid English. I did not recall receiving that from the office of the minister.
Yes, Commissioner, comment.
You see, Advocate Johnson, your testimony yesterday was that IDAC received the minister's letter, and the minister's letter was unhelpful. And you instructed Perumal to get an affidavit from Adams. Now, that's completely different to what you said to the ad hoc, because the impression you are creating here is that it is Adams who came to IDAC, and this thing landed on IDAC's desk, when in fact yesterday we agreed that based on the minister's letter, or rather the letter from the minister's office, it is IDAC that reached out to Mr. Adams. So which is which now? Because here it's Mr. Adams who's coming to IDAC, but yesterday you were quite clear that it's the minister who came to IDAC. The letter from the minister was not helpful. You then instructed Perumal to reach out to Adams, and that's how the Section 27 affidavit came about.
That is the correct position, Commissioner Khumalo. When I say that Mr. Adams came to IDAC, it is Mr. Adams who wanted IDAC to deal with his matter. But the position, as I indicated yesterday, is the position of having first received a letter from the minister. I did indicate that there were no attachments. I therefore asked Mr. Perumal to please engage Mr. Adams, as Mr. Adams wanted IDAC to deal with his matter.
So, and then the last engagement on that page, your response to the ad hoc gives the impression that Mr. Adams's referral landed on your desk in the middle of December 2024. Now that cannot be correct, because on the 6th of December, you gave the authorization, the Section 28 sub 13 authorization. So it cannot be correct that the referral landed on your desk in the middle of December 2024. Because that is the question. Advocate Arends says, after the referral in November, when did the matter land on your desk, and what work would have been done on it? So the question, although it's 3 questions in one, it is specific. When did the matter land on your desk? And your response is, at the time I received it, it would have been the middle of December 2024. That was incorrect, what you told the
This is incorrect, yes.
Because already by the 6th of December, you had had engagement not just with Perumal, but also with the prosecutor.
That is
because you would have, by the 6th of December already, looked at the application from the prosecutor and formed a view that you are going to authorize investigation into those 12 people that we mentioned earlier.
That is correct, Commissioner Khumalo.
Thank you.
But the question is, why did you say to the ad hoc committee that you received the Section 27 in the middle of December? Why would you say that?
At the time, Commissioner Baloy, that was my recollection. In coming to
carry on, sorry.
In coming to this commission, I had to offer myself properly with all of the facts. I'm not saying that the ad hoc was not important. I didn't go through all of this detail with my team when I went to ad hoc.
But you would have prepared to go to ad hoc. I mean, yes. I suspect they will be deeply offended if they are to understand you to mean you went to that committee without preparing and looking at your records on this matter. So I must assume that you prepared when you went there. You knew what the issues were. Their terms of reference, as in the question,
is signed on the 30th of May.
Okay.
And the designation for the persons who are to deal with it are on 3303.
I accept your point, correct? So the first designation is 3302, that's dated the 30th of May 2025.
That is correct.
The document I looked at, you say, was adding to the designated team in August.
As happens in all matters, if you add persons to an investigation, regardless of who they may be, you must designate them to the investigation.
I'm with you. I accept
and
that. Thank you.
Just for context for why there is a later one.
Thank you for that clarification. Then,
sorry, I think Commissioner Khumalo has a...
Oh, yes, please.
I think it's confusion more than anything. I had understood during your first day of testimony that the designated investigator came to you in February to say, please authorize summons so that we can get these documents in relation to the generals that appear in those summonses. And that was sometime in February. There was also a summons that went to BMW again in February. Now, they could not do that unless they were designated as investigators, because for them to say, I need to go into BMW and get documents and interview BMW people, because that's what the summons said. And that was all in the first or second week of February. That can only mean there must have been an earlier designation appointing them as investigators, because if the designation only happens at the end of May, what were they doing talking to BMW management in February of 2025 and interviewing senior managers at BMW in February 2025? So do you see why I'm lost?
May I explain?
Yeah.
So, Commissioner Khumalo, when the Section 2813 preparatory investigation was authorized on the 6th of December, it also designates persons to the investigation. And because they are designated to that preparatory investigation, they are able to conduct investigations.
May I assist? Please answer that question with reference to page 3282. Same file. You say when the Section 2813 preliminary investigation is authorized, it also designates persons who should conduct the investigations. And that is the document we discussed from yesterday. That is your authorization.
Yes.
And it's followed by 3285.
Yes.
You say that's a designation in terms of 2813. Is that the document you reference?
That is
dated the
correct.
6th of December 2024.
That is correct.
With those documents, then you may respond to the Commissioner's question.
On page 3286, Commissioner Khumalo, is the list of persons that were designated on the 6th of December, so that there are persons designated to conduct investigations. And as I indicated, Section 2813 does allow you investigative processes, including being able to interview a witness, subpoena documents, and so on.
So there were two designations / authorisations.
Yes, the first being preparatory, and once that is summarized and done, they then bring together the May application.
Advocate Salom covered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have I clarified it, Commissioner?
You have. Thank you.
While I hope you have your act close by, and my reading of 2813, why do you suggest it requires a designation? When I read 2813 with 28 sub 2 sub A, I draw a distinction. Whereas it's 28 sub 2 sub A, that requires you to designate people to investigate. But that's a full-blown investigation now. 2813 doesn't do so, and if anything, it just simply says you, the investigating director, may hold a preparatory investigation. I accept for present purposes that you may delegate that power. But it doesn't require you to establish a whole team of people to investigate. It's preliminary.
I understand what you're saying, Counsel. Yes. But out of practice, we do designate persons to the investigation, preparatory or otherwise, or else it'll go back to Commissioner Beloy's point of you have people running around on fishing expeditions and doing as they please. And how do we account for what was done, who did it? Back to Commissioner Khumalo's question of how do you have people interviewing senior persons, etc. It is the designation assists in identifying persons to be able to conduct the activities that that team determines are for investigation. We have always done a designation for both, so that there is accountability and there's responsibility for the activities and for the actions.
And I'll tell you perhaps where that designation in terms of 2813 gives me challenges. We have now agreed that you authorized a formal Section 28 investigation on the 30th of May.
That is correct.
That's when the investigation starts.
Incorrect.
Tell me.
So Section 2813 is a preparatory investigation. It allows you to take statements. It allows you to interview persons. It allows you to subpoena documents in terms of Section 28.6, which is what you would see the investigators had done.
Let's deal with that issue with reference to the wording of 2813. 2813 allows you, as the investigating director, it specifically singles you out, advocate, to hear evidence to enable you to determine if there are reasonable grounds to conduct an investigation. So it's a process to enable you to make a decision whether or not to investigate. Correct?
Correct.
Now, we know that on the 6th, you started the preparatory investigation, and by the 30th, you say there is sufficient material to conduct an investigation. So the actual investigation only starts from the 30th of May. Otherwise, you are investigating with while you are in the 2813 mode, and whatever exercise you are undertaking at 2813 determines whether or not you should investigate in the first place. So you can't have a full-blown investigation in 2813.
It's not a full-blown.
Okay. Now, we know that you came to the conclusion that we must investigate on the 30th of May as per the authorization. I don't know if this speaks to the efficiencies of IDAC, but by the 26th of June 2025, less than a month later, after you authorized the actual investigation, that list of people was arrested and appearing before court. So your investigation actually took exactly 3 weeks, not more. What did that investigation unearth that was already not in your files by the 30th of May?
The investigations out of that preparatory investigation would have commenced after the 6th of December 2024.
Yes.
And I do hear what you say, Counsel, but in terms of the preparatory investigation, I read it with Section 7.3 of the Act that says an investigating director shall be assisted in the exercise of his or her powers and the performance of his or her functions or duties, and lists those people. So it is not the investigating director herself who conducts the preparatory investigation. And the persons designated there to conduct the investigation on behalf of the investigating director. We go back to what is allowed in terms of Section 28 as an investigative tool. They are allowed to interview witnesses. They are allowed to obtain subpoena and obtain documents, etc. And that is what had happened. So by the time we get to if I can just take a moment,
yes.
I'm just feeling slightly lightheaded.
Take a moment.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. So by the time we get to the 30th of May, there would have been investigations done. What the test is on the 30th of May, in the presentation of the Section 28 application, is a summation of everything obtained to date. Does it now make or create that reasonable suspicion we say was not there in the initial phase? And if it therefore fulfills that requirement, we can then authorize the full-blown investigation.
Okay.
It doesn't mean... May I continue?